And we're live.
Hi, I'm Jordan,
I'm Jared.
and we're the guitar players in What Drives the Week.
So how did you guys meet?
Um, with me and him, it was actually kind of a funny story. I'd never met him until he actually came to try out and join the band. Our bass player had known him, and we had actually played shows like in other bands,
Okay.
like on the same bills. But I'd never really gotten to know him until he actually came and tried out.
Yeah.
So here's a deep question. What do you want to leave as your legacy?
Honestly, I think for me, just something that even if it just resonates with a couple people, um, just something that if they listen to it, brings them back to a good point in their life, or something that just makes their life a little bit better. That to me is everything.
Yeah. For me, it's mostly the music. Um, Leaving something behind that's going to outlive you is definitely the dream, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think of like some bands I enjoy. They've maybe had like one or two albums ever, and then broke up. And here I am, still listening to them this day, and there's still albums that mean a lot to me. So I just want to kind of have that same. I want to be able to do the same thing for somebody.
If you could give a message to anybody that's starting out now, what would it be?
Work. Just keep working at it. Keep grinding at it. The grind never stops, but the hard work pays off eventually. It's not always fun. It's not always the what you think it's going to be, but the harder you work, the more you grind on it, the more you power through those moments, and this is what you want to do. It makes it all worth it eventually.
Yeah, definitely what he said.
That was
Nose to the grindstone.
yeah, with us, even when COVID had everything shut down where we're located at, shows were non-existent. Instead of staying apart, we practiced 6 feet away from each other, in the practice space, and decided we were going to write music. We were going to do things that we could do. We tried to think of marketing things that we could do as far as, just keeping in touch with people, and just what we wanted to be. Even during that downtime, there wasn't any downtime, and I think that's the biggest message I can send is just keep going at it nonstop.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work. And a lot of times it feels more like work than it does feel like play. And
Yeah,
which sucks because all of us get into it because we like to play. But yeah, it's a business. It's a business as much as it is fun.
Well, speaking of that, what would you want to change in the industry?
Ooh.
um,
Definitely artist recognition.
yeah.
For sure. Like make sure that the artists like get their fair share and more so them and less to the labels and whatnot.
I would say yes. I'd say also maybe like compensation, artist compensation, like on streams, for example. What is it, like a fraction of a penny per stream or something like that? Every so many streams, um, because now album sales don't really exist.
No, they
Um,
don't.
so I mean, it's one of those where all your money's made at live shows and on your merch and things like that. So that's one thing I would would love to see change, but. Um, yeah, that would be the one thing I would have to pick is just compensation as far as like streams and things along those lines.
Yeah. And we might be a tad biased when it comes to that opinion.
Yeah.
So, because we would like to, you know, feed ourselves with just the music in and of itself. It'd be nice, but oh well. It's okay.
All right, speaking of that, if you weren't playing music, what would you be doing?
Um, I'd probably just be doing what my day job is. I work for it's kind of like the call center part of a medical company. I'm like
Okay.
one of like the team leads in that department. I would probably just keep doing that. Um, I still I just try to split my time 50-50 between the two things. When I clock out of work, immediately practicing or going to a show, just trying to do that. So I'd probably say I would just focus more on that.
I'd probably go back to school. Go back to college, get into, I don't know, electrical engineering or something.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm about a year away from like an HR degree, so I'd probably try to go back too.
So, what is your favorite song that you released?
Out of all of them, I'm probably going to have to say probably Aeon's Wake, which is the most recent one that came out. Only because that's one of the first songs where there was a lot of collaboration between our current lineup. The first couple songs that we wrote that haven't been released yet, it was mostly like one or two members writing it. This one was all five of us really just collaborating together. It took probably the longest time to finish writing that song out of all the ones that we've got written with this lineup. But it was also just a really rewarding feeling. And then hearing it back, I just love that song personally.
I'd have to go with probably Contagion. It's an unreleased one as of right now, but the breakdown in it is really sick.
Okay, yeah.
It's probably my favorite.
Out of the released ones, though, what would you say?
Out of the released ones?
He's a little biased because he's probably going to be a little bit biased because he wasn't on the Lightbringer album.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to say maybe Agony and Apathy. That was a good one.
Never mind. He wasn't that biased.
That's a banger.
So, if you can pick your own bill, live or dead, who would you want on it?
Ooh, our own bill?
Yep.
I'll let you. You want to start that one, or do you want me to?
Man, I got to really think about that one. That's a tough question.
Okay.
How many bands?
Top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5? Oh, okay. Let's see.
All right.
Make it easy. Top 5.
Oh, Lordy.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Go
ahead.
First, Suffocation.
Okay.
Love that band. Second one would be a band. They're not around anymore. They were only around for a couple years, or if that. Strangled. They're one of those bands that they didn't release a lot of material, but it all meant a lot to me. So I would love to see them on a bill. With like Suffocation, and then probably there's one death metal band I'm a big fan of called Inoculation. I would want to see them. I'm trying to think, maybe Heaven Shall Burn. That's another band that was a really big gateway band for me. And then the last one, trying to think, probably there's a band from Australia called Disentomb that I'm a really big fan of, and I've never gotten to see them or play with them or anything like that, and I would absolutely love to be able to see them live. And that would be like the top 5. If that tour came through here anywhere near me within like 12 hours, I'd be at it.
Oh, let's see. Mine's probably just going to be a bunch of bucket list bands that I've not got to see yet. So or bands that I wished I could have saw, like Queen, for instance. God, I love me some Queen. Metallica. That's one I've not got to see yet that I would absolutely die for. Between the Buried and Me, huge inspiration and an amazing show. I've seen them live like 3 times now, and they kill it every single time. A little bit of a guilty pleasure, Louis Capaldi. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but I love that guy. That guy can freaking write some good lyrics.
No judgment.
Dude, he's good, ain't he? He's awesome.
No judgment.
I'm surprised you didn't say Taylor Swift.
Yeah, something random like that.
Periphery, another big inspiration, and a more modernized inspiration. That was a band that got me into actually paying attention to guitar tone and making it sound good instead of just playing good. And let's see, what was that? Was that 4?
No,
was that 5?
I think you named 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's 5.
A little all over the place.
A little bit, yeah.
If you could send a message out to your fans, what would it be?
It would honestly be a gigantic thank you. Where we're located at is geographically kind of the middle of nowhere. We're really isolated in our area, so it's really hard to, get on bigger shows when they come through, or create new fans when we're so isolated. So the ones that we do have, it means so much to us that people actually enjoy what we're doing. And it's just something that it still blows my mind that we'll have people that, enjoy what we're making. Just because it's not expected of anybody from where we're from to be playing metal and to have anybody actually care about it. So for me, it would be a gigantic thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like the area that we come from we come from Kentucky. It's very small. The population is like, what would you say, like 5,000 people, if that.
And yeah, in this particular town, yeah,
if that. And it's the country music highway, man. So like, hardly anybody out here even listens to this genre of music. So like, to any of our fans, wherever you're from, that do listen to us, huge thank you, and you're the best.
So how was the show with Born of Osiris?
that was an interesting show. There was a little bit of a timing mix-up. All of our tickets and the actual event billing showed it started at one time, and we had to play an hour before what all those times said the show started. There was a mix-up between promoter, venue, and the touring bands. We got there and we just finished up doing a sound check. We thought we were finishing with the sound check and the doors were going to open, and then we were told, yeah, you've got 15 minutes now. So there were people that were literally trying to get in and get their will call tickets, and we were 8 minutes into the set. 8 minutes of our 15 minutes. There was all the bands were amazing about it. They were really apologetic. They went out of their way to really make us feel welcome.
Yeah, even though they didn't have to.
Yeah, they definitely did not have to. We ended up, I know Signs of the Swarm gave us a shout out during their set for all of it. Shadow of Intent did as well. And then Born of Osiris, we actually got to hang out with them and hang out on their tour bus there for a few minutes after the show and just kind of, socialize and talk with them about it. And they were all just amazing people.
Oh, yeah, super chill dudes.
And that crowd was absolutely nuts for all those bands too.
Oh yeah, the crowd was great.
If you could pick a venue to play, where would it be?
For me, it would probably be Bogart's in Cincinnati, only because that's one of those venues that all the bands, when I did get to go to a lot of the heavier bands, when they would come through, that's where they would be at. And for me, it's just one of those places where I just always dreamed of being able to play at that venue because I've seen a lot of my favorite bands there.
For me, probably Donington Park, where they have the Download Festival every year over in the UK. Oh man, literally like 500,000 people looking at you right in the face. That'd be crazy. That would be my dream venue for sure.
I know I probably should have asked this earlier. How did you get the name of the band?
A lot of people think we got named after a Shadows Fall song. Our original, we only have one original member, our vocalist. He wasn't able to make it tonight.
Yeah.
He had something come up. But according to him, they drew names out of a hat during that initial lineup, and that's the one that they drew. He'll swear up and down that it wasn't a Shadows Fall reference.
Yeah, he does.
And he gets so mad when people think that.
Oh, yeah,
well, it's a good thing I was actually going to ask that question because that came up first.
Yeah, he says that he says he's not a fan that he didn't think of it at all, but I know he had like a soundtrack from a movie or something like that. I remember he had the CD back in the day and it had that song on it. So I'm pretty sure he had it subconsciously thinking about it.
Probably. Yeah.
Exposed. Definitely exposed. All right, deep question here. Your last meal, what would it be?
Oh,
Last meal.
for me, it would be baked ziti. That's my all-time favorite meal. My specifically probably my mother's. She does an amazing job fixing it. It's always like anytime that like there's any kind of like family dinner or meal. That's like always the one thing that I'm hoping that she'll fix. Like if I'm there. Um, so I would have to go with that one just because that would be a good way to go out.
That's an easy one for me. 60-ounce medium rare tomahawk ribeye steak with smoked asparagus.
Okay.
Hands down.
Yeah, he's the foodie of the band.
Yeah. Well, I'm a meat guy. I wouldn't call myself a foodie, but yeah, when it comes to beef, I got you.
So you're dropping a new song on the 26th.
Yes, we're dropping a song called Malfeasance. It actually features Chris Whited from Body Snatcher.
Hell yeah.
Formerly, he also was in King Conquer in the past. He has guest vocals in it. He is also the producer for pretty much almost all of our release material. He's going to be on that song, and it comes out on Black Friday, November 26th on Slam Worldwide. And then it'll also be available for streaming on all streaming services.
Just give me 1 second. My phone turned off, so I don't have my notes here. Do you think you could do anything better as being a musician?
Oh, definitely. There's always room for improvement. There's a lot of things that I know me personally that I can work on, and I try my best to work on those things, but there's always room for improvement. You're never good enough. There's always going to be somebody better. And it kind of goes back to the whole answer earlier about, advice to give to somebody starting out. The grind never stops, even if it's just a personal grind, as far as being, the best at what you can do, giving it 100% your effort, because it never is going to be enough. There's always going to be something that you can learn.
Yeah, sticking to the grind and just practicing. I mean, if not everybody out there that's in a band is an instrumentalist, obviously vocalist. But yeah, if you are an instrumentalist, you've got to practice. You've got to know your craft. You've got to know your parts that you've wrote. Just knowing all that stuff better, and learning new stuff.
Yeah,
learning new stuff so that way you can have more tools to create with. You know what I mean?
it's super easy to kind of plateau, especially on guitar. You'll get stuck in these same scales, these same modes, and then all of a sudden you think everything that you're writing sounds just like the last riff that you wrote. The last breakdown sounds like the other one because you're kind of using similar rhythms, and it's easy to, kind of fall into a rut. So, like he said, trying to learn new things, new genres, new techniques, those things usually will kind of open your eyes and make it a little bit more fresh. And then also one thing I want to add is like definitely play to click tracks when you're practicing. That's something that I used to not do a lot, and over time I've learned how important that is. Now I can't practice without a click track or a metronome going off.
Yeah, definitely use a metronome. That's a big one.
Did you ever?
If you're not practicing to a metronome, you're doing it wrong.
Did you ever take music theory?
Yes,
I did.
we actually both did. My first instrument was actually piano. I took about 11 years of lessons theory and formal lessons, and then also took music theory in school and AP music theory in school. And I believe you were on drumline, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in marching band in high. I was a band geek, but I played snare drum. I was a drummer. But yeah, just like him, whenever I was 5, Mom forced me to take piano lessons. I hated every second of it, but it did pay off. It was pretty awesome. I'm really glad she made me do that now. But yeah, and then I took a few theory classes when I was in college.
And our drummer, he also took, he was also drumline, so he knows a lot of theory as well. And it's really funny when we write because us three can talk a lot about theory and use like really formal, definitions and names and terms.
Yeah.
And our other two members will just kind of look around until we kind of say it in normal, like layman's terms.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
okay.
don't know the language.
What is the best part of being a musician and the worst?
The best is that feeling when you're playing. There's just something about it when you're playing, especially with your best friends in a band. That locked in kind of feel when everything's just clicking. It's just a rush. It's indescribable, honestly. And then the worst is probably all the back end work that nobody talks about, lugging gear around. Yeah, all the weird hours, trying to sleep in vans, things like that. That's the stuff that nobody talks about, but it's the best and the worst. Like there's a lot of good memories and good times associated with it, especially within our band, a lot of inside jokes and stuff like that. But I think I can speak for all of us when when I say that lugging drums around or guitar cabs or anything like that, that part sucks.
Yeah, for me the best part's definitely like just the connection that you get with people, like whether it be your other bandmates or it be your fans or it be whenever you're on stage playing a gig, like it's just the energy is just so awesome. And the worst part for me, probably lugging gear, like he said. That part sucks.
We usually, us two, end up having to do a lot of the lugging. Yeah, we're usually we're the two smallest guys in our band, so we kind of are the ones that end up having to like crawl in like the crevice of the vehicle and like help like move drum racks and stuff. Like we'll have them like wedged in the back.
We're the Tetris masters.
Yeah.
In the back of the.
Which one in the band is the most level-headed when things go wrong?
Probably Craig.
Yeah, I would say Craig, our drummer.
Probably Craig.
He doesn't really ever get worked up. Like I've never seen that guy even when he's upset, blow his cool, like lose his cool. He's always just very even killed. He's one of those. It's all right. We'll get it figured out. We'll figure this out. Don't really know how, but it'll happen. Don't worry. Like that kind of personality.
It's almost like he can't turn off customer support mode.
Okay.
Yeah, he turns into like that, like tech support where it's like, all right, we'll get this working for you. Like even when like it doesn't matter. Like it can be the worst thing ever happened to us. We could be stranded, and he'd be like, "It's okay. It's gonna work out. We'll be there on time."
Yeah. Just bear with me for a minute here.
He'll be like, let's brainstorm an idea here. Like that kind of personality.
That's pretty cool though, to have somebody like that.
Oh yeah, he's the person that anytime in the band, he's the first person I message because that's his personality is just immediately like, don't worry about it, man. I understand. I feel the same way sometimes, but it's all gonna be okay. And then I'm just sitting there after that, just like, yeah, he's right.
So when you guys were growing up, do you remember Celebrity Deathmatch? Can you hear me?
Is the audio still working? It kind of started glitching on my end. I just wanted to make sure.
I can hear you.
Yeah, it's still showing. Okay, I think it is my Wi-Fi. some connection issues.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Gotta be something to do with the.
Can you hear me?
Connection.
Oh, yep, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah,
If you
sorry
can
about that. I
date
think the
an-
connection bottomed
no
out
problem.
on us.
If you can date any musician, who would it be?
We could date any musician.
Yes.
Oh.
Ooh. You want to go first, or you?
I guess I could say Stevie Nicks just to piss him off. Tatiana from Ginger.
Okay.
Hands down. Ooh.
Oh, this is rough. Probably
We know
gonna
it's-
say Taylor Swift.
I knew that was coming.
Taylor Swift.
I knew that was
Taylor
coming.
Swift.
Yeah,
He wants a song wrote about him.
yeah.
It could happen.
It could. It very well could.
Yeah, it would definitely be Taylor Swift.
What is the most expensive thing you've lost on tour?
I think we've been really,
A lot of things
or any kind of shows or anything like that. I think
I ever lost was a wireless unit. It wasn't but it was still enough.
just a really big disappointment. It's like when I first started trying to use like wireless units, and it got mixed up in some other gear and was left behind, like states away. And yeah, that's definitely the worst one for me.
Oof.
Like had too many mishaps, like playing shows or anything. But at one point in time, whenever I was in my old band, our other guitar player, we were playing a show like 3 states away, and he ended up leaving a guitar there. Like we came
Oy.
without a guitar, and it was like probably 8 hours away. I think it was like a year before we ever saw that guitar again. Now, this didn't happen to us, but it happened to friends of ours. They played a show, and their drummer had his entire set of cymbals. Every cymbal he used was stolen like that night. Like that was probably the worst one. And there was like 2 people at that show. It was like a glorified sound check. So it was like a double whammy for them. I think that's the worst one of anybody I know personally.
Can you hear me?
Cymbals too. He just got them like the week before. Yeah.
Do you still get stage fright?
Yeah.
Do you still get stage fright? Can you hear me? Do you still get stage fright?
I don't know if it's acting up on my end
Yeah,
or you're in there. It was like kind of wanting to lag there. I was just wanting to make sure.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Do you still get stage fright?
Can you hear us? We're having a little bit of trouble hearing you.
I can hear you. Do you still get stage fright? Do you still get stage fright?
To an extent, yes. I'm naturally a very shy, kind of introverted person. So I still get it every now and then. Not as much as I used to. I used to almost have to almost throw up before a show to finally kind of get the nerves calmed down. But now I just kind of I have so much confidence in the other four guys that I'm on stage with, and I know that it's going to be a good show because I'm playing with my best friends. That takes a lot of that edge off for me. Now it's more of a, we'll just get out there, have fun, see what happens, and do our best. But yeah, used to I was very bad about it.
Yeah, I think everybody, whenever they start out, they're pretty bad about it. But it doesn't bother me much anymore, not like it used to. Now it's just whatever. It's just I'm getting up there, getting in my zone, and doing my thing, jamming out, and yeah, I don't really get stage fright much anymore. But now, if you were to put me on a stage in front of like 10,000 people, I might change my tune.
For me, as soon as I hear like the click track for the intro, like as soon because a couple of us will run in ears in our band, so as soon as I hear the click track that's starting the set, zone, automatically get in the zone.
Yeah.
Have you ever played the wrong? You ever start playing the wrong song?
Yes. I actually, it's a couple. I'd say it was a couple months ago. There was a show where I did that. I played the wrong. I started playing the wrong riffs, and I just looked at the set list wrong. I had it down by my feet. I had a copy of it over by my feet, and went into the completely wrong song. Everybody else just kept going, and thankfully, like, what I was doing was just kind of chugging open notes. So they no one really kind of caught it, but other than the band members. So thankfully nothing too crazy there, but I've definitely done it.
Yeah, I think it happens to everybody. Everybody screws up at some point, or plays the wrong song and pulls an Ashley Simpson.
We're really bad about it in practice. Our drummer, especially even with clicks, he'll be sitting there and go, "Wait a minute, what song's next?" And we'll tell him, and he'll go, "Wait a minute, how's that one go?" And he'll go into like the wrong one if we don't do that for him.
Yeah. But yeah, it's only a practice, so.
Yeah, good. By the shows, we usually have all that ironed out, but definitely a lot during practices.
So, what was your best moment on stage and your worst?
Let's see, best one. There's a lot of them that are tied for the best. When I first joined this band, I was 18 years old.
Okay.
And we used to play a lot of like house shows locally. I think those are all some of my best memories because it was just it was one of those things where it finally clicked, like, this is what I want to do. And this is exactly that feeling, that rush that I was chasing. It was just kind of a reaffirmation of that's what you're here for. That's what you want to do. This is it. The worst moments, we played a show one time, and I cannot remember the name of this band, but it was a completely different genre, which we have no issues playing with bands that aren't our genre. We never have any gripes about that. We'll play with anybody on a bill. But this was like us sounding like what we do and like a K-Love, like Christian contemporary pop band. And that was the difference. Yeah, it was ridiculous. And there was maybe like 4 people there, and they were all there for the K-Love band. And then it was just kind of like everybody was just sitting there because they were sitting down. It was like seated show, and they're just going. And I mean, it literally got to the point where an old member, because this was a long, long time ago, an old member literally out loud, there was a microphone there, and I don't think he didn't mean to get caught on the microphone, but went, "Are you kidding me? Like, why did we get booked for this? Like in the middle of our set." Yeah, that was probably the worst one for me.
I
That was
would
like
be
2010.
I would be embarrassed.
Oh yeah, it was a train wreck from the first note to the last note, and I literally, once we loaded up, I got out of there so fast.
Were they just like silent, or like was there any movement, or
They were silent except for like one person who actually pulled out, because this was like 2010. They pulled out an iPod Touch and put their headphones in.
what?
Like there was one person in the crowd that literally put in headphones and listened to other music while we were playing, and then the other like 3 people were just sitting there just like miserable.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was probably the worst show I've ever played in my life, and I don't think anything will be worse than that one.
I wish I'd been in the band for that.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Trust me. Only 2 of us in the current lineup were in the band at the time, and we can both talk about how terrible that one was. That's like top 3 worst shows of all time, and it's number 1.
I'm gonna say the best moment for me was there's a place a couple hours from here called the Thompson House, and the first time that I played there, it's probably one of the best moments, or the first one that comes to mind, because that was the first time I've ever played on an actual stage. You know, by definition, a stage. You know, a lot of places, like a lot of bands get their start playing in like small clubs and bars and stuff, and most of the time there's never a stage ever. Either you're playing on the floor or something, and or you're playing on literally, like I've played on a sheet of plywood that was just laid on top of like cinder blocks. So the first time I got to play on a legitimate, actual huge stage, it was awesome. The worst time for me, we were playing at this small bar, and it had a really crappy stage. It was very poorly built, and there was like I don't know, there was like a lip or something in between the wood, and I was just on stage, and I went to switch guitars, and my foot caught that lip, and I fell right off the stage. And not only did I fall off the stage, but the momentum just kept carrying me. And I went straight through the back door to this bar, and which that part was actually kind of nice because it was really hot up there. And whenever this happened was in like November. So that cold air was really nice. But yeah, I fell off stage and out of the bar. That was pretty embarrassing. Not gonna lie, but I stood up and gave him a good old.
That's almost worse than playing like with the K-Love band that didn't like us.
So you literally threw yourself out of a bar.
Literally, yeah. I threw myself out of the bar. Out the back door, nonetheless.
That's the first time I've ever heard that story, and oh my god.
All right, I'm gonna switch it around. You guys could ask me anything.
Who's the coolest band that you've interviewed so far?
That's so hard, but I'm gonna have to say Stillwell.
Okay.
That is Fieldy from Korn's other band.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
I'm gonna ask, if you could pick 5 artists to interview, like bucket list, who would they be?
Definitely Jonathan Davis. Was Jean from Seven Dust. Alice Cooper.
Very good one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Probably OTAP.
Definitely good one.
And that's one. Last one. Eddie Vedder.
Yeah. Yeah, Eddie Vedder would be a good one.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see, can you think of another question?
Bucket list bands to see play live.
Honestly, there's only two that I haven't seen live that I want to see, and that is Elton John and Billy Joel.
Ooh,
Nice.
okay.
I'm an Elton
Yeah.
John fan.
I've been to over 2,000 concerts or so I've seen the majority of festivals or whatever. I mean, there's not that many people. If you ask me if I've seen them, that I haven't seen them yet.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm jealous.
Yeah, same. Where we're from, like usually the closest to any like big festival or larger size show,
Yeah,
it's about 4 hours away automatically.
Oh yeah, in any direction.
really.
Yeah, we're right. We're from Kentucky, right there on like that West Virginia border.
Okay.
So if they come to Charleston, that's about what 2-3 hours, maybe 4, depending on which hometown of the band members.
Charleston's a little closer.
Well, maybe a little bit. Cincinnati is about 4 hours from me.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Louder Than Life is 4 hours in one direction. Blue Ridge Rock Fest is about 4 hours in another direction.
Yeah, any shows that come through here, we have to travel.
Sonic Temple is about 3 hours north.
4 hours for me.
Speaking of Boo Rock, did you submit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we did. And I think we're gonna try to submit again this year. He actually went to it.
Yeah, I went to it. It was pretty fun.
I was trying to make it out there because the majority of people I've interviewed were on the smaller stages. I was trying to make
Nice.
it out there. Hopefully this year I will.
Yeah, it was a good time. I didn't. I had a great time at Blue Ridge. I know a lot of other people probably had some horror stories that I've heard, but it wasn't that bad for me. It was pretty great. A lot of walking, but
So speaking of on the smaller stages, who did you catch?
on the smaller stages,
Yeah.
I caught Dying Oath.
There-
There's another band called Roachzilla that I watched. They were pretty cool. Who else? I'm trying to remember because well, you didn't go. There was only like 2 smaller stages out of the 5 big stages that they had there, and I think most of the days I ended up spending all my time at the stage that didn't have like a smaller stage next to it. So I ended up catching Roachzilla just because they were on the stage beside of where Cypress Hill played.
Okay.
And they were going on before he played, but they were pretty good. I do remember them.
So did you like Dying Oath? Did you like Dying Oath?
I did. Yeah, we're actually our drummers like buddies with them. He knows them very well.
So do I. Did you catch Faith Destroy?
What was the name?
Faith Destroy?
No, I didn't catch them.
You gotta check them out. They're good.
Okay.
You said the name was Faith Destroyed?
Yeah.
All right. I'm making a note of it. Think of another question. We're like the 2 worst people in the band, like on the spot, like trying to think of stuff.
Yeah.
Like the 2 most introverted, probably. I don't know. Let's see. If you had to pick like one album to listen to, pretty much from now till the end, what would it be?
Oh yeah, Desert Island Albums.
Oof. I'm gonna have to say probably Follow the Leader by Korn. Metallica Black Album. And Aussie came out with a greatest compilation. It was like 4 or 5 CDs. So pretty much anything Aussie I'd bring with me.
Definitely.
Aussie, I love me some Aussie.
Same.
You can't go wrong with listening to Aussie.
Oh yeah,
You really can't. Pretty much all the eras. There's amazing songs through all the eras. Like as far as like the guitar players.
oh yeah. There's a question for you. Who's your favorite Aussie guitar player?
Probably Zach.
Zach. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a J. Lee guy.
Yeah, I feel like Jakey Lee was real underrated, man. Bark at the Moon was awesome.
I'm just a big fan of the riffs.
Yeah. I do like me some Jakey Lee. Zach Wild was awesome though.
Yeah. It's insane that one guy's had that many like legendary guitar players. Because I mean, definitely Zach. I mean, when you think of electric guitar, you think of Zach Wild, and then you think of Randy Rhoads. That's two of like Mount Rushmore. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's just insane that he's had. Then you add Tony Iommi from the
Black
Sabbath
Sabbath.
days. I mean, like it's just insane that he's had like three faces of what could be any most guitar players like Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. I think Dave Mustaine's trying to beat him though. He's working on it. He's trying.
Yeah, with all the guitar players.
Okay, what is your Desert Island CDs? I know Taylor Swift is one of them. Never,
surprisingly
ever,
not.
ever.
He doesn't make the cut.
No.
Now mine would be Pierce from Within, Suffocation.
Okay.
That's an album that really influenced me a lot. Then I would probably say Toxicity, System of a Down. I literally wore out like 3 copies of that CD growing up.
Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen them live?
No, the closest place they ever came was, God, I don't know. I don't even know how many hours away, and I was still like late middle school, early high school at that time period. I could drive, so I had no way to go see them until they went on. Well, not broken up, but the hiatus.
Okay.
They were a couple years ago.
Yeah, and I didn't get to go.
Yeah.
Let's see, Toxicity, Pierce from Within. Probably Master of Puppets. That's one album I can listen to front to back. I mean, pretty much most Metallica albums I'm going to listen to from front to back, but that's the one that meant the most to me.
Even Saint Anger.
There's a running joke in the band. I always play like,
especially Saint Anger.
Yeah. That's more of like a running joke in our band, that I'll always like talk about how amazing it is, just to mess with everybody. One of my warm-up riffs at practice is always Invisible Kid, just to piss everybody off.
Watch out for tomatoes.
I think if I actually did it at a show, like something would be pelted at my head. Let's see. Siamese Dream, Smashing Pumpkins.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that guitar tone is just amazing. If I'm not playing anything heavy, I literally am like a master like fan of like any kind of fuzz or anything like that. So like that giant like wall of fuzz and just distortion that he had on that album, it's just amazing. I can listen to that album from front to back any day of the week, anytime. Let's see, that's 3, isn't it?
Yep.
Ooh, this is getting harder. It's one of those where you don't think about it until you.
Oh yeah. Whenever someone asks, you just start drawing blanks.
Probably. I can't think of the name of the album. That makes me sound like so bad. It was a Demon Hunter album. It was the one before Tripping, Summer of Darkness. That one, growing up in a very conservative area as far as religious goes, to find a band that was actually a Christian band that had any kind of like harsh vocals or any kind of down tune guitar, that was kind of like that. Them and they were one of those gateway bands for me to be able to like find other bands, because then like mom and dad would be like, oh well, yeah, they're a Christian band, okay. And then I'd just like
Well,
sneak other albums in, like stuff like that.
okay.
So definitely that one. Just because it takes me back to like the middle school era.
You technically could sneak in POD,
Oh yeah, POD. That was one that there was
Flyleaf,
never an issue with mom and dad like being like, yeah, we'll buy you that CD.
them, Flyleaf. There's was
Um,
was technically Creed technically a
I think
Christian
in that time
band?
period, the Christian people would love that album. Love those albums. So yeah, I think everybody thought they were, or they might have been. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, I remember like that being like really popular at like church youth groups around the area. Um,
Just get rid of the casing and you're fine.
yeah. Iowa Slipknot. That would be number 4.
Amazing.
That album to this day is one of the most pissed off sounding albums I've ever heard in my life, and it's also one of those gateway albums where just that level of aggression and that angst and anger that you can kind of you can just pick up from it immediately when you hear those songs. So definitely that one. And then the last one. This is completely out of left field, not metal related at all. It's an 80s band called The Outfield. The album Play Deep.
Okay.
Every song on it, I don't skip a single one.
I can
But
respect
yeah,
that.
definitely that one.
Nice.
What about you?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna say "Colors" by Between the Buried and Me. Album from
Okay.
beginning. It's just a masterpiece. My God. Just because I'm feeling different, I'm gonna say "Ride the Lightning," Metallica. That's a good one.
It's my second favorite.
Second favorite.
Metallica, yeah.
Hey, you can't go wrong with the first 5 though.
No.
Really. Blood Mountain, Mastodon.
Okay.
I've been on a big Mastodon kick lately.
I completely forgot about that album.
Huge Mastodon kick. Shogun by Trivium. That was a great one. And then, let's see.
Oh, come on. You've literally got like Spotify pulled up.
I know. I'm looking at my most listened to album.
Have you ever seen Trivium?
I have. I've seen them twice.
Okay. Because I don't know what goes out by you guys. Like, I'm from Central Jersey, so any direction I can go to a show.
Yeah, with us, we're usually limited to sometimes bands will come through Lexington, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky,
Yep.
Cincinnati, Ohio, and then Columbus, Ohio. That's usually the closest places for us.
I'm going to watch Body Snatcher tomorrow in Nashville.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, Nashville's like 6 hours from here.
6. Yeah,
about 5-6 hours. God, it's gonna suck. It's a lot of driving.
But it's worth it.
Oh yeah, that bill is completely stacked.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good show. Oh, yeah. Driving from here to Nashville and then back to Toledo.
Yeah, that's a heck of a drive.
Yeah.
It'll be worth it. How many albums have you named?
Oh yeah, did I only name 4?
I think you only named 4.
Only named 4?
Yeah.
I gotta name one more. Oh, hang on. Did I say Queen's Greatest Hits?
You did not.
No, you did.
Greatest Hits.
That's number 5.
Queen's Greatest Hits. It's got like 35 songs on it. Like, how can you go wrong there?
Fair enough.
All right, guys. At this time, do you want to promote what's going on with you guys?
Yeah, we are we're getting ready to drop the new single. The song's called Malfeasance. It's going to be out on Slam Worldwide on Black Friday, November 26th. We're going to have a couple more singles and releases, probably later this year, at the very, very end of it, or at the very beginning of next year. And then we're going to have an EP called Order of Exile released early spring of next year. And then let's see, I'm trying to think. We've only got like one more show. This is if anybody in our area listens, it catches this. We're playing a show in Grayson, Kentucky. It's a free admission show. The only thing we ask is that you bring some toys it's like a toy drive for children in need. So if anybody gets notice of that, we would definitely appreciate if you came out and helped out with that cause. But that's pretty much what we've got going on. Is the new single is going to be out on Black Friday, and it's going to be on Slam Worldwide on YouTube, and then on all streaming platforms.
And where can you be followed?
Oh, you can follow us on Facebook at What Drives the Week Official. Also on Instagram as What Drives the Week Official. Our vocalist, I think he's got a TikTok set up for us, but I don't know it off the top of my head. I'll be honest. He just kind of runs it on the side. But usually with us, Facebook and Instagram are the two best places to catch us. And both of those are the What Drives the Week Official. I think Instagram's got an underscore in there, but as soon as you type in What Drives the Week as one word, it pops straight up.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to say to your fans before we sign off?
I know we've already said it once during this, but just a gigantic thank you, because for 5 guys from Eastern Kentucky, which is kind of like the middle of nowhere geographically, that anybody at all listens to us, it means the world, because it's not expected. This doesn't happen usually for anybody where we're from. So we appreciate any listens, any streams that we get, any shirts that we sell, anybody that shares our stuff and enjoys it. It means the world to us, and we definitely want to say thank you. We can't say that enough.
Yeah, massive thank you.
So I'd like to thank you guys for your time, and I will let you know when this is all posted.
All right. Hey, thank you for having us. And
No problem.
I apologize that we were having some issues on our end on the audio and stuff right before it started, but thank you so much for your patience, and thank you for having us.
No problem. I will let you guys know. It should be open in about an hour.
All right.
All right, man.
Good
Thank
talking
you,
to
and
you
have
guys.
a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Take it
Bye.
easy, man.
Bye.